Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Live at Inspire. I'm so excited to be here for day two. We were live yesterday with Dustin Shimmick and Emily Vala. And today I have the honor of co hosting with Susan Walsh, the classification guru.
Hi
Hello,
everyone.
Susan.
Hi, thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, me too. Have you been having fun?
I've had the best time and I'm so excited because we have four fantastic guests to talk to today about this event, which has been phenomenal.
What has been your favorite part so far?
Apart from the amazing cakes that have been passed around, I would have to say finding out about magic documents, that has blown my mind and I think that's going to be a game changer for a lot of businesses.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I learned so much today in the keynote, so many great surprises, so many
Yeah.
things coming out.
I think in general, the whole theme is analytics for all, which means everybody at every level can use it. And it's literally going to save you time and hassle and stress.
Yes, I think before we bring up our first guest, I want to speak to the audience. So if you're joining us live, we are actually here in Las Vegas in person. And I want you to enter into the comments from wherever stream you join. If you're on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, on Alteryx or my account or Susan's account, we're streaming everywhere today. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Just put in the city, so we'll get a sense of what sort of diverse audience we're working with here.
We want to see as many countries and cities in that list as possible.
Yes, all
But
right.
data can be from any country, but that unites us all.
Yes, data for all.
Yes.
And no, analytics for all.
Analytics for all, yeah. Okay, well, I am really excited to introduce our first guest even. I'm so excited I can't even speak. His name is Ed Green. He is the head of commercial technology at McLaren Racing. I am completely fangirling out right now because I'm a huge F1 fan, but I promise not to be too stalkery when he comes on stage. So let's welcome Ed Green.
Hello, Ed.
Hello,
Hi.
hello. Thank you for having
You're
me.
here in
Yeah.
Las Vegas
Very
at
exciting.
Alteryx Inspire.
I know.
Woo!
Next time we'll be in Vegas. We'll be racing. We'll be out here in November, going down the strip. So
But the
it's good to
crazy, yeah, the crazy thing is we live like what 20 miles away from each other back
We
in
do.
the UK,
we do, yeah.
and we've never met. There's probably a reason for that. So let's get started. I would love to know what kind of data and technology challenges that you're using Alteryx for at McLaren Racing.
Yeah, it really goes across everything we do at McLaren. So we started using Alteryx in the manufacturing space. So we've got lots of machines producing lots of data as they're milling, machining. We've got big 5-axis milling machines producing parts of the Formula One cars, and they produce a ton of data. And we couldn't even open it just a couple of months ago. So we put that into Alteryx, and we've started to bring in different data sets to merge alongside it. So we can bring in overtime data, we can bring in finance, we can bring in lots of different data sets to truly understand how much effort goes into development of just a single part for the Formula One car. And in any given season, we start racing in about March and we finish racing in about November. 80% of the car will change between the first race and the last race of the year. So that development cycle is just absolutely rapid and pretty consistent to the factory. So as we started manufacturing, we've used it across our fans. We've mapped, all the venues across the world. We've mapped the nearest hotels, the nearest Hilton hotels to our races. We've tried to see where we could put on fan events to be local to them. And then we've also used it to do some really weird and wonderful stuff, analyzing, our virtualized wind tunnel, our real wind tunnel, and the data coming from the actual car. There's some really complex maths and science in there, and Alteryx has been a really natural home for us to start doing a lot of that work and investigation. So everything.
Amazing.
Wow, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. So 80% of the car is changed from March to November. Wow. All right, so I'm going to assume you sat through the keynotes this morning and thoroughly enjoyed them as much as I have. It was
He sat
so much
next to me,
excitement.
I can confirm
Okay, you
that's
can
right,
confirm
yeah.
he was there. Great.
Yeah.
So, what did you hear in the keynotes today that has got you the most excited?
Well, it was like the keynote this morning was great. Really exciting to see it. I think a lot of what they're doing around the kind of the AI space of Aiden's going to be really exciting. But we're a sport where milliseconds really matter. The difference between pole position and second can be tenths of seconds, if not hundredths of seconds. And so to see that in Alteryx now you can load in a lot of time series data, and you can go to, I think I'm going to get this right, 18 decimal places of time. Actually, for us, really makes a
huge
big
in
difference.
racing, yeah.
It's huge in racing. So I got a little sneak peek of it yesterday, and now to see it on the keynote stage this morning, definitely excited to take it back to the factory and see what we can do with it.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I see. I'm just so excited. I'm just speaking over you. It's fine. So obviously the most important question is, can I get pit lane passes from you, please, for Silverstone? Just kidding, just kidding. Actually, I really wanted to know what the benefits are that you found by using Alteryx. Like, what are the greatest benefits? Like,
I think when we're quite a lean IT function, and as a racing team, we're also pretty lean, right? We don't have huge numbers of data scientists, but we do have really engaged and really smart people working across the team. Alteryx has just leveled the ability for people to share and collaborate when it comes to those big data challenges. Actually wrangling and manipulating that data to make it usable in the first place. When you run a car through a virtual wind tunnel, you are analyzing every single cubic centimeter of air that goes over the car, producing over 9 petabytes of information. Actually just being able to get that into a workbook and share it, that's where it's been transformational. It means that whether or not you're someone with 2 PhDs from one of the top universities in the world doing research at McLaren, or you're starting your career as an analyst in my team, you can all work together from the same workbook. So for me, what's really exciting is, seeing people that have studied computer science, or seeing people that have studied engineering or aerospace or material science, collaborating together. I think, gone are the days now of having to write. If you want to, you can, but thousands of lines of R or Python, you can do that in a common workbook. And Formula One's a great industry. It's very exciting to be in, but you're working 23 weekends a year, and we do more and more races now. And it's not always going to be long term for everybody. And also, when you work with high volume, high frequency data, sometimes that means that you become quite attractive to other industries, finance being one of them. And so to be able to sort of work at McLaren and leave knowing that you can share what you've worked on, and it's not buried in commented code that lives forever. For me in Alteryx, that's a really, really exciting place for people to share and collaborate.
Yeah, I've got a small team myself, and I can imagine that it's in the old days it would be one person was responsible for that data, whereas now you kind of have contingency plans for if that person's off sick or leaves, you can pass that knowledge on and keep everything going.
Definitely. I think I always say the one thing I'd love to teach people is curiosity. And when you work with some people at the top of their game and some people in our team that lead the industry, it can be quite nerve-wracking to go up to them and ask them a question about how to wrangle or manipulate some data. But if you've got an idea as to how to make the car go faster or what strategy we might be able to use, now having the tools at your fingertips, it means that curiosity can spread all across the team. And yeah, I mean, if I could teach it, I would, but I think Alteryx helps give people confidence.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thanks.
absolutely. Well, Ed, I think it's been a pleasure. I want to thank you for taking the time to chat with us, and thank you for color coordinating with me.
Yeah.
This was,
Great
More than
job,
welcome.
guys.
yes. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
so
Thank you very
much.
much.
All right.
Who's next?
We've got 3 more guests, believe it or not.
3?
So I'm going to go ahead and introduce Jamie Beeson from JLL. Hello, hello, Jamie.
And don't worry, I'm
Hello.
no less excited to see you. I am just as excited.
I'm very excited.
So Jamie, you're the Senior Director of Business Intelligence and Analytics, Analytics Data Fluency and Change Management Ambassador, and Alteryx Visionary.
That's a lot.
So glad to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's quite a lot of things to do. Must
Keeps
be
me
kept
busy.
Yeah.
Keeps me busy. Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
have a lot of free time on your hands. So
Now, if this talk is an hour, I could talk about data fluency for more than an hour.
Yeah.
But I'll only answer the questions that you ask. Yeah.
yes. So thank you so much for joining us here live at Inspire. And I'm sure you're really excited about the keynotes as well. Lots of new products. And my question to you is all about implementation, right? So if there was a new feature or a product announcement that you heard about today, can you share some of your plans for how are you actually going to roll this out at JLO?
Well, we heard a lot of features drop this morning. That was an absolutely loaded keynotes. And I took a break and talked to a teammate, and we're like, do we have that? Can we have that? How do we play with that? What do we do? So honestly, the best way is to just try it. So there's one of the, the 2 biggest things I heard was Aiden, right? So how are we bringing AI and machine learning and making it more user friendly? But the control containers, oh my God.
So excited.
Oh my God. So a lot of workflows have dependencies. And so now we can wait for something to finish and then say we want this part to run and then this part. So we already have use cases for that at work. So immediately is the answer for how we will implement.
Yeah, and just a follow-up question for that. So what sort of outcome results are you hoping to get out of rolling out the containers?
Less rework, less manual maintenance and babysitting of things, because we won't have to check and make sure things have run. We will just set it up so that when it successfully finishes, the next piece will go. So less
And less dirty
Time.
data, which is my favorite thing.
Yay!
Great. Well, I have a different kind of question for you. What is the one Alteryx function or feature that you couldn't live without? And also, if you could have anything else that isn't in Alteryx yet, what would you have?
Your wish
Only-
list. You get to
Yeah.
tell us what you
only
want.
one.
Yeah.
Just one.
This may be the answer a lot of people give, but I'm going to say join, because that is one
Yeah.
of the main benefits Alteryx does for us is it creates new data sets.
Yeah.
So we're blending more than one data set and coming up with a new aha moment. So I'm going to go with join. Also a huge fan of auto cleanse, because it will reduce your runtime and make everything shorter, cleaner, neater.
Nice.
Yeah. And what's the other half?
What would you like to have as a function that isn't there
yes.
yet?
I would like to have AI adaptive load balancing for the server.
Okay.
So if it can tell these workflows have these dependencies and that upstream data thing
Oh, yeah.
is constantly laggy,
Yeah.
we suggest, kind of like a Tesla lane change, right? We suggest you change lanes. Would you like to do this? And we can say, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's do that.
That's actually not an unrealistic wish list to do.
Yeah, I think this
could
could
see
be
that
announced
coming in the
next
future.
year.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like every Inspire, they're like, we heard you say all these things last year.
here they
Behold.
are.
Yeah.
So
they
maybe
have,
next year.
they have, I think it's the sneaks tomorrow, so they're going to be pitching some new additions that you can vote for. So who knows? It might even be in there. We'll have to check it out.
I'll put my vote.
Yes. All right.
Yeah. Have you got any more questions for Jamie?
Jamie, what has been your favorite part of the event, just in general? It doesn't have to be a session.
Physically being here.
Physically in
Yeah.
person, right?
It's-
Back in
yeah.
person.
Yeah, you know how when you walk into a room and like you found your tribe,
Yeah.
you can just feel the vibe of the room. Like these are my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a very tank filling event.
And we've been connected on LinkedIn, and now
I
we
know,
get to
like,
meet
I
for the
get
first
to
time.
meet
It's so
you.
cool. You're real. Yeah.
I know that's been my favorite as well.
Yeah.
'Cause I've been to so many virtual events over the past 3 years that it's just so nice to see everyone. And we're looking
Mhm.
at all the people here right now.
Yep.
But as well, it's everybody's here for the same reason. We're all super geeks and love data, and we can just completely geek out. It's just
I feel
fantastic.
safe here.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Go wild as you like.
Huh?
You can go as wild as we like.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
especially uses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Jamie, for
Thanks for
coming and
having
visit
me.
us.
Thank you.
Yeah, we will let you go, and you can go and wander and be free and geeky.
I'm gonna go be social and meet
Go and
everybody.
do it. Yes.
Thank
We'll
you
see you at
both.
the bar later.
Thank you
I'll
so
be
much.
there.
Yeah. Wow, we're having a great chat. This is going really quick.
I know.
I know, and we are on to our next guest now, and that is Eric Soden from Capitalize Analytics. So welcome on. Come on up.
Hello, hello.
Hello. How are
you're
you?
here,
I'm
live.
fantastic. How are you guys?
Excellent.
Good. How have you found the event so far?
Inspire is one of my favorite events of all time. So every time I come, it's amazing. The energy, everybody's so excited. I also love coming to conferences that are technical with tons of functional users, right? People from accounting and finance and HR and tax and treasury. And there aren't very many conferences where functional users get as nerdy as they do at Inspire. So it's just really fun to see it and great to be part of it.
How many
Yeah.
have you been to so far? This is my first
Yeah.
Inspire.
Yeah,
so.
same here.
Okay, so I believe we had 2 canceled, right? With
Oh yes.
who should not be named, right? But anyway, so I think I was at 3 before that, and then 2 after, so 5.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Is this your
Nice.
favorite, or is that
Is this my favorite?
No
It's still
pressure.
early. It's still early now. So far, so good. Yeah,
Fantastic.
absolutely.
Well, the first question that I wanted to ask you was, do you see common issues amongst your clients that you're having to help them resolve?
Luckily, we see a lot of common issues. It would be pretty depressing if we were trying to reinvent the wheel every time. But I think in general, every functional area, again, especially as we look at non-IT, when we look at functional areas like accounting, tax, finance, HR, the tools that they have are Excel as their primary tool. And the thing that I have found is when you're in Excel, there's a lot of inefficiencies. There's a lot of manual things that have to happen. And now we're able to give people technology that's way, way faster. And so as maybe as not as exciting as it possibly could be in some of the base cases, a lot of it is teaching people the new way, teaching people that there's another option. It doesn't have to be a manual Excel process. It doesn't have to be VLOOKUPs and sum ifs.
Yeah. And I feel that using Excel is prone to a lot more errors than something a bit more secure.
Yeah, I mean, there's no security, there's no data governance. Anybody can change anything they want. It's very slow. It's hard to understand what's happening and what the process flow is. Whereas, you teach somebody Alteryx, and so you take a 20-step process in Excel that maybe takes 8 hours, and you build a workflow. Maybe it takes you 8 hours to build the workflow, and then you click the button and it runs in 0.5 seconds,
amazing,
right? And it's like, wait a minute, what took me 8 hours just took 0.5 seconds, and what about next month? Oh, well, next month it's going to take 0.5 seconds. It's like, how is that even possible? And so I come more from an IT background, and so in order to seeing accounting and tax and finance and HR and all these different functional units see the power of these technologies when applied to their normal processes is fascinating. So it's just so fun. You see their eyes light up, you see the big smile, you see them show up to a dorky tech conference, right? And it's like, oh wait, accounting people are here? This isn't an accounting conference. They're here because it's a tech conference and they love the tech. And that to me, that's the part that just jazzes me up. And so you asked about, do we see similar problems? We see similar problems all the time. It's people who are either struggling with SQL, wishing they had something better than Excel, and they're kind of stuck in the middle. They start automating processes, and then they become power users of Alteryx. Next thing you know, they're doing a geospatial thing, or they're doing their first machine learning, or their first predictive thing, or their first complex forecast. And I mean, the cool thing is the platform can grow with you. So you might be getting rid of some Excel processes today, and then all of a sudden tomorrow you do something that Excel, it wouldn't have been possible in Excel, right? You do a geospatial thing. It's like, how the hell did you do that? That's incredible, right? And so that, to me, that's the really fun thing. And yes, most of the challenges are the same. The challenges with data are data's too big, it's too slow, we don't have the skill set, data's dirty, we need to clean it up, we need to match multiple systems, we need to pull from a lot of different weird places. And Alteryx makes most of those things substantially easier than my other option. And so we just go in and help people solve all those challenges.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned that feature. I was playing a game earlier, was the Alteryx escape room, and we used geospatial analytics to identify sort of the victim, the culprit.
You finished the game.
We finished the game. You didn't see
get
that
that far.
geospatial was really cool.
That is
So I really love that feature. My question to you is all about advice. So you're obviously, you love Alteryx. You've been to all the events. You're a loyal Alteryxer.
You've even got a booth here.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So my question is, for clients that are considering Alteryx, what advice would you have for them for maybe their first step?
Yeah, interesting. So we work, with Capitalize, we're the global partner of the year this year. We've been
Congratulations.
partner of the year for the last 4 years, right? So that's been really fun. And so we help new people all the time. And the number one thing is in the end, as much as I love Alteryx is a tool.
Yeah.
You have to have a reason to apply the tool, and that's the value. And if you need to identify that and a lot of it as much as possible, you should always be looking for ways to improve, ways to do things faster, processes that maybe it wasn't at the top of your list last month, but now that you automated 3 other processes, you should be thinking about what's the next process, what's the next group. And as you find things that are valuable that you can automate and that you can create, and you get these people spun up faster and they're able to do things more quickly, that's where the value comes from. It's not the tool, it's the application of the tool. And so you need to gut check yourself and say, if all you're gonna do is tie 2 spreadsheets together, that's your only goal?
Yeah.
Alteryx is overkill, right? This is where we're killing flies with sledgehammers. But if you dig in and you really think about what 20, 30, 40, 50 processes, if I could snap my fingers and make them faster and give people better access to data and get people data faster, what would I be doing? And you start quantifying those things and saying, I could knock out 8 hours here, 5 hours here, 20 hours here, 30 hours here. This supply chain thing was impossible in Excel, and now we're going to be able to do it. And you start adding that up, the ROI is virtually infinite, because these people will get better and stronger and faster constantly. And so I guess moral of the story is, if I was to tell you anything, it's make sure you know what you're going to do with a tool before you buy any of these tools. And then you don't learn how to play tennis or how to bake by watching YouTube videos and going to the baking community on the cooking channel and then expecting your people to become professional bakers. That's not how this works. You hire professional people to come in to, even if you want to learn it, you will learn tennis faster, golf faster if you have a professional with you helping you learn it. People who are better than you, people who can push you outside of your comfort zone, show you things you've never seen. So whether you're working with your internal groups who maybe have already adopted Alteryx, or you have a consulting firm that already use Alteryx, or you have a buddy who works at a different company who will meet you on the weekends so that you can brush up on your skills, somehow you have to be able to ramp. And the faster that you can take those 50 use cases you found and get them into production and automate those processes, that's the value. The faster I can get you there, the better. Now, I need to bring you up along the way. So I would tell you, consulting firms are here to make money. Capitalize is here to make money, right? We help, but we're also professionals. We have people who've been working in Alteryx for 10 years. To expect somebody with 45 minutes of experience to have the same amount as somebody who's been doing it for 10 years is like having your wedding cake made by this guy over here who's never done a wedding cake build before, right? Like, yeah, like, hit up YouTube, bro. I bet you can figure out how to bake. So anyway, so you got to have the right use cases, and you've got to have the right team in place. You've got to have the right rollout plan, and you've got to have the right expectations of how long is it going to take and what's the value going to be when you're done.
Yeah, I absolutely love the idea of making sure you have the right use case, because you mentioned it is a tool, right? Like just like a hammer.
Yeah.
How, when do I need a hammer? Well, do you have a nail sticking out? Like,
no nails.
Probably no
All right,
nails
don't
and no
need a
tools. But if you have 20 nails and you need a hammer, but you're doing it by hand right now, you probably need a
banging
hammer.
it in with your fist, using a screwdriver. That doesn't make any sense.
Right, exactly.
And are you using Alteryx in a number of different ways within your business to help your clients, or is there a kind of set tools that or processes that you're using?
I mean, so yeah, it's a great question. So a little bit, are you talking about just Alteryx or Alteryx and other technologies?
Go for it. Tell us your secret sauce.
Well, so I think even within Alteryx, there's about 1,000 different ways you can utilize it depending upon what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
So accounting, finance, HR, tax, they all have different burdensome problems. Engineering, right? Like whether it's an oil and gas company, aerospace, telco, it doesn't matter. Everybody's got challenges with data. And realistically, while Alteryx does a lot of amazing things, access data, manipulates data, geospatial, predictive, and outputting data, there are things that it doesn't do. If you need to go to 75 different websites and download things, and you need to put in prompts and log in and do two-factor authentication every time, Alteryx doesn't do that, right? And so a technology like a UiPath or an RPA tool that can go out to those 75 websites, log in, do all of that stuff, and then get the data out of that portal or out of that website, and then give it to Alteryx. Now you have a 1 + 1 = 3 type of situation, right? You can automate the front end and the back end. If you say, what should we order this month, and then Alteryx helps you figure out what to order, somebody has to go order it. Well, if the way to order it isn't automatic, if it's not through EDI, it's not through a back end, somebody's got to go type it in. Well, you can take a bot and have the bot go type it in. You don't have to do that. So now you automate the whole process. On the visualization side, you've got Tableau, you've got Power BI, you've got tools like that. Alteryx can get the data, get it all into a nice format. You can stick it in there and have the prettiest dashboard in the world. But if you don't have the data in the right format and it's not clean, those tools aren't strong, right? So
I'm saying that all the time, every day.
Yeah. And so to me, it's hammers and screwdrivers. You need both, right? So you don't just buy a mixer and bake cakes. You have 400 tools, and you use all of them for the right reasons in order to get to where you need to go. So Alteryx is amazing. Alteryx is fantastic. It's not the end all be all. And depending upon your challenge, you may want to look for technologies that supplement, complement what Alteryx can do.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yes, Eric, thank you so much for your time here with us today. We're going to bring up.
I'd like to go a bit rogue.
Huh?
I'd like to go a bit rogue.
Okay, go rogue.
If Jamie's listening.
Jamie?
I'd actually like you to ask you another question if you want to come back up.
She'll need the microphone.
Yeah. I'll let them swap over.
Susan goes off script, everyone.
It's the inner data geek in me. I can't help myself.
We're literally talking about data fluency over there. I told you that's all I want to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So I know we asked about like your favorite tools, but I would love to know how you're using Alteryx and JLL as well, because we've heard so many different instances, and I love the fact that there's so many different possibilities on how it can be used.
Well, obviously we're doing a lot of workflows. So that could be automation, so helping people reduce the Excel hell loops in their function. You know, here's your report, you don't have to do it. Data creation and curation, so we've blended data sets and now you have a new aha, I mentioned that a minute ago. Apps, so we have people that come and run our app and it gives them what they need and then they do a thing and they run the app. So we have apps that run hundreds of times a day.
And I guess you have a large team, so it's really useful for everyone to have access to those workflows. And
Yep, and we have Fee Gordon at JLL, so she made Alteryx Adventure. So we have the internal gamified upskilling platform. So as we hire new talent, they get to learn best practices, and we do the weekly workouts and all this kind of stuff. So
That's
yeah.
good.
I love that.
So do we.
Yeah.
Because it takes the lift off of the managers to upskill our people,
Yeah.
and it's fun.
Yeah.
I like fun.
There's
Yes.
leaderboards to climb and
Yeah.
stickers and badges to earn, and
Yeah.
it's great.
Oh, amazing. Well,
Yeah.
I wanted to know. Thank you so much.
Yeah, happy to.
Everyone
so
who's
much.
standing around here, beware. Susan
I know,
may
I
or may
might
not
just-
call you up
I'm
here.
gonna call you up. Who knows?
All right. It's my pleasure to introduce our very next guest, Franco Patano, lead product specialist at Databricks. Round of
Hi,
applause.
Franco.
Thank you very
Sorry
much.
for holding you up.
No problem at all. Jamie is amazing.
Thank you so much
Yeah.
for being here, Franco. So you're from Databricks, and so it's essential for the world to know, how does Databricks partner with Alteryx?
That's a great question. It's something that I've been helping folks this week understand. So essentially, with Databricks, it communicates with Alteryx over the standard database connection. So if you're using Designer, ODBC, if you're using the new web-based product, it would be like JDBC. But essentially, you connect to our SQL warehouse, and it's just like any other database or data warehouse connection. You read and write the data through there. The kind of benefit is, hopefully with our newer connectivity, with support of Unity Catalog, something that I've been talking about with a lot of business analysts here and like their managers, is that Alteryx is awesome because it helps enable their folks to get the job done. But what ends up happening is that data governance, like Jamie was talking about, like data fluency, understanding what's going on out there, is really not well scoped and governed. Like, it's really hard to organize all of that metadata that they're all writing. So as soon as Alteryx supports Unity Catalog and Databricks, it has a feature called lineage tracking. We automatically track via the DML that is fired off from any tool, Alteryx being one of them, and it will track all of the lineage that they're doing from all of the source files to all of the databases or the tables that they're rolling out to. So essentially, they'll get like automated lineage and data governance, which would help with data fluency. So it's something I'm looking forward to, and that's how things connect with Alteryx today.
A quick
Wow.
follow-up question.
Yeah.
Why is data lineage so important? Why do we care?
Great question.
I'm opinionated about
started
this.
Something.
Oh God. All right. So I spent actually where Jamie is at JLL, I spent a considerable amount of time there before her time. And one of the biggest problems that we had was data governance over all of the different applications that produce data, right? And so something at Databricks that we just released that some of my colleagues in Europe created is this concept called semantic consistency when you're working with data. Not rules like you should do Inmin or Kimball or Data Vault or all these other things, but actually you should have semantic consistency. So that's some of the things that we're trying to get like evolve the vocabulary, if you will. But one of the hardest problems that we had when we were managing all this data was lineage. And as soon as you recorded the lineage, so you have to document the lineage, right? As soon as you document it, it's out of date, right? So that means someone has to run the process or someone has to update the lineage. Well, now you've just created a lag to all of your knowledge that you have. So one of the things that I thought was the biggest gap in like data governance or lineage tracking was it needs to be automated and automatic and built into the system, or else it's practically useless. So that's why I'm super stoked about it. And I think it's very important, especially for these folks here, because they're solving business problems, but it's like there needs to be something that like automatically figures out what they did and lets everybody know like how they got to that conclusion, right?
Yeah, it sounds like you are making life easier for a lot of people.
That's what we're trying to do with Databricks, make your life simpler as an analyst. And it's something that the analyst community doesn't really know because Databricks really wasn't originally built for that community. It was actually like an engineering tool in the early days, an ML tool, a data science tool. We just recently started doing SQL analytics and analyst community. So you'll be seeing more of what we have to offer. But essentially, yes, like you haven't heard of it before, but maybe you should check it out.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been a lot of amazing product launches and reveals this morning. So, what are your thoughts on what you've heard and seen? Is there
As
anything
a
that-
data nerd,
yeah,
the fact that every vendor is embracing like the AI generation is
Yeah.
fantastic.
I think embracing is an understatement.
Yeah.
They're all over it.
So Databricks is no exclusion. I wore my Dolly shirt here. If anyone knows Databricks Dolly, it's our big marketing splash that we made. I actually won this shirt by doing the data set internally. So if you use Dolly 15K, some of those responses came from me.
Nice.
So essentially, Databricks as well is leaning into this. You'll hear more about it at our summit, Data and AI Summit in June. But yes, I love the fact you said the magic document. Is that what it's called?
Magic document.
yeah, magic documents.
If I had that 10 years ago,
Oh, I know. Even last week.
how much PDFs
Yeah.
do you have to deal with? Like extracting knowledge from PDFs is such a hard problem to solve. Like we have notebooks at Databricks that are really complex that you can build to do it, right? But the fact that you can just have an LLM and something like Alteryx just do it for you. Here's a directory,
Yeah.
and it's magic.
Yeah.
The future is bright and it's awesome, and I'm
And
just loving all of it.
exciting. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. I think that's my question.
Yeah, last question. Where can people get a T-shirt with the fun llama that you've?
Dolly the sheep. All right. So
Oh, it's a sheep. It looked like a llama. I'm sorry.
So because like the other big like ML, the other large LLM is Llama. People, it happens all the time. It's a
Okay.
sheep. If you come to Data and AI Summit, I heard that we just printed out a lot more of these T-shirts. So definitely, if you want your own Dolly, the sheep T-shirt, come
Yeah.
check out Data and AI Summit in June.
Okay, perfect. Well, before you get off stage, the folks in the audience, let me know. Do you think that's a sheep or a llama on his shirt? We'll check the comments after.
It's a sheep.
I know,
I
but
know,
what do they think it
Llama's
was?
got longer neck.
That has a long neck. Okay. Anyways, Franco, thank you so much for your time here
Thank
today.
you so much.
Thank you.
You can escape now.
Susan, just the two of us once
I know,
again.
I know, and them.
And all the rest of the
We're
people
supposed to
around
pretend
us.
they're not here.
So I want to set something straight because social media has been blaming
Picking up,
me
yeah.
for throwing you under that Alteryx bus
I was
behind us.
under the Alteryx bus, and Kate Strachnyi put me under there.
Yes.
Okay.
So what
She put
happened
me
was
under there.
Susan asked me for a picture with the bus. She decides to climb under the bus, and I took a photo. All right. That's
Didn't
all
happen.
that happened for the record.
I've got witnesses. It didn't happen.
All right.
Yeah. So you're kind of heading off today. I'm
headed off. I got here on Monday. So what is today? It's already.
I've been
It is
traveling for
Wednesday
so long.
eve-
I have no idea
it's
even what day it is
Wednesday.
anymore.
I know Alteryx Inspire has another fun day tomorrow. I am upset
Yeah.
I'm missing the Grand Prix.
I know.
I've been looking forward to that.
Yeah. And I need to get my data den set up so we can get some people in there and do some fun stuff too. Make it all sparkly. Woo!
Yes, we have plenty of fun content coming out, and just I encourage everyone to follow Alteryx and make sure if you are not here for this event that you're joining next year.
You
I'm not
have
sure
to be
where it's
here.
going to be yet, but I'm sure that'll
Maybe
be revealed
we can
shortly.
tease it out of them after a few drinks in the
Yeah.
bar.
We'll lock them in the bus until they tell us.
Yeah.
All right.
Great. Thank you so much for
Yes.
joining in, and I hope you've really enjoyed it as much as we have. I've learned a lot about how useful and powerful Alteryx is and how it's helping so many people.
Yeah, I can't wait to read all the comments that came in. Thank you so much for joining us.
See ya.